How's it going? James Lashbrook here, Perma RSM in the Southeast. This is part 2 out of a 3-part video series on the STAR VARIO Bluetooth. In the first video, we talked about creating the company, adding the users, and creating the company structure. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the data and how that integrates with Perma Connect, some of the ways it can be integrated into your company's preventative maintenance and predictive maintenance planning. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you the difference in Perma Connect, what the difference in data and usability looks like between a non-Bluetooth STAR VARIO and a Bluetooth STAR VARIO. So first, this is a non-Bluetooth STAR VARIO. This is what you can expect to look like. If you saw the first video on company structure, you can see this is at here's what that tree looks like. So we went, all the way deep down from line to yard to application to point. All right. So we know where this is at. This page is also showing what it's set to. This is all entered manually in here. So I went in here and I specified that this is going to be set to 1 month, right? I told it that it's a 250 cc. I told it that it's got this grease, and based upon the date that I gave it, the size and the settings, it gave me the next exchange date. It's basically just a timer, a calendar timer that shows when the last one was, when the next one is, and at what point is this lube cup at in that time interval, right? This 87 is not associated with any kind of data coming from the luber. It's just at how far along this 1 month period are we, right? The history will show when you've done these edits and changes, so you can keep a history of when the exchanges were. That happens automatically. You don't have to prompt that. So if you're using a non-Bluetooth STAR VARIO, whenever you do this change out, it will keep a log of that, and you can turn on or off the timer here. It's not turning on or off the lubricator, it's just turning off the monitoring of this. So if this is set to 1 month, you turn it off, it's still going to say that it's at 87%. In reality, in the field, it's still continuing to pump grease, okay? So the utility is there though, because if you've got hundreds of these lubricators, you're going to want to know dates, right? So there is good utility in using Connect, even if you're not using Bluetooth STAR VARIOs, right? You need, when it comes to a certain point, there needs to be some sort of way to schedule your changeouts and keep customers on top of it. And then for you, the distributor, you're able to know when the customers do and they need to buy more, right? So if you can leverage this Connect app to your benefit, it's going to result in increased sales, because now you can go to the customer and say, hey, I know that your changeout was last week. Let's get you 100 more lube cups, right? Non-Bluetooth, great for Connect. Bluetooth is even better in Connect. So I'll show you what that looks like. So where you'll land on with Bluetooth is something like this. It looks just like the non-Bluetooth, but you've got a lot more detail here if you look closely. So as you can see, this is telling how much grease is left, and you've got this button here. If we were within Bluetooth range of a Bluetooth drive, you'd see bars here. And then you'd also be able to click this in your mobile app, and that would light the backlit LCD up, and so you'd be able to see that you're talking to the correct drive. You've identified the one that you're entering into. From here, you can turn on or off your drive. It's not only going to stop the timer, it's going to stop the drive if you're connected to it. So if a company's going into an outage, they don't want their lubricators running, they're able to walk around with their smart device and turn off all their lubricators. They can identify which lubricator they're talking to from this page. They can also run a purge from this page. The purge will update the fill level, which is nice because if you've got a 1 month setting and you purge it 3 times, you're not going to quite last 1 month now, are you? So not only will this fill level update, but so will your exchange date. Your information, you're able to see here settings, volume, dispense value. This is how much grease has already been dispensed. You're able to see the grease, you're able to see how many purges, and you're able to see local temperature. This is not bearing temperature, it's not a condition monitoring device. This is just the temperature there at the point of the bearing. It's helpful to know this because if there's a failure and you see that there was a gigantic temperature spike, then you can be certain that it's not the STAR VARIO that failed, it's some sort of user error. History. This is great. So this app will pick up data as long as you're within Bluetooth range of it. You don't need to actively connect to any of these drives, right? The main thing that people want to know is, are the drives working, right? Do I need to go climb up a bucket elevator to find out if it's working, or can I just see that here on the app? Well, first thing you need to know is, when was the last time you've collected basic data, right? So as long as you're within Bluetooth drive or Bluetooth range, you're collecting basic data, right? So when you're on your lunch break or you're at your desk after you've walked around with your phone in your pocket, you can confirm that you received relevant data. You're not looking at old data. From there, as long as everything looks good here, you'll see that it's working, it's in good condition, it's fine, right? So your lubricators are working. If you wanted to go into even more detail, you can see a dispense log, right? So what this is doing is, this is showing the last time there was a dispense on one of these lubricators, right? So, for example, let's look at this one. The dispense log is time stamped and date stamped. So you can see every single time that lubricator pushes grease into that bearing, you can get confirmation of it. So if, let's say there's a bearing failure and someone wants to say, oh, the STAR VARIO wasn't pushing grease in. Well, you have confirmation right here that down to the second when that grease was put in. They can see how much grease they're able to know exactly how much grease went into that bearing for the last 100 discharges. So I mean, they can have a lot of details at their disposal as to what kind of information they want to see. Also, it's stamped with who has collected the data. So if this is assigned as a PM schedule to walk around, collect data, you can confirm that it's actually been done. So a lot more data here, a lot more information and usability. And it integrates perfectly. You can have a Bluetooth right next to a non-Bluetooth, and somebody's able to use this in a way that works for them, right? So it's tracking everything. You as the distributor hopefully are maintaining visibility through your user management, right? So you're able to see, you're getting the same updates, you're seeing the same errors and failure modes as the customer is. You're seeing, for example, that, oh, I have 4 upcoming loop changes, right? Even though those aren't Bluetooth drives, you're still able to see that. You're able to see at this location here that there's 38 exchanges that are past due. It brings a lot of value to your customer if you can be a second pair of eyes for him or her, and then keep things in order. So This concludes the data portion of my series on STAR VARIO Bluetooth. The next video is going to be on pairing the drives and troubleshooting the drives. So I'll have that here shortly. Hope it helps. Thanks.